She didn't slam the door, she didn't scream, she didn't explain, she just vanished. No warning, no goodbye, just silence, sharp, calculated, empty enough to make you question if you ever really meant anything to her. Now you're sitting there, refreshing her messages, replaying the last moment, wondering, was it something I said, something I missed, something I didn't see coming? But here's what most men never realize. When a woman suddenly grows cold, it's not always because she lost interest. Sometimes it's a test, sometimes it's a punishment, and sometimes it's about control. But what if you didn't flinch? What if you didn't react like every man before you? What if instead of chasing answers, you vanished, calmly, silently, without drama, into your own stillness and power? This isn't about getting her back, it's about getting yourself back. This is about responding like a Stoic, not with emotion, but with discipline, not with desperation, but with presence. You're going to learn how to turn her silence into strength, how to unsettle her ego without saying a single word, and how to become the kind of man who doesn't beg to be seen, because his presence speaks louder than any cry for attention ever could. Rule 1. Indifference is the loudest response. When she disappears, your instinct is to reach out, to fix things, to explain. But that's exactly what she expects. That's what feeds her ego. The Stoic man does the opposite. He steps back, not from pain, but from power. He retreats into silence, not to sulk, but to regain control. Because silence isn't weakness. It's presence without permission. It says, I don't need to be heard to be felt. When you stop responding, you create a void. And into that void, she projects her fears, her doubts, her questions. Did I lose him? Why isn't he chasing me? That silence haunts her. Rule 2. Needing nothing, expecting even less. Most men fall into emotional quicksand by waiting for closure. They hope for an explanation. They wait for her to say something that makes it all make sense. But the Stoic man doesn't wait. He walks, not to punish, but to protect. Because the moment you need something from her, attention, closure, clarity, you give her power. And the Stoic man never surrenders his peace. He leaves without bitterness, without begging, and with no emotional debt. That unsettles her more than any fight ever could. Rule 3. The echo effect. When you're consistent in someone's life, your presence becomes expected. Your name becomes a pattern, a rhythm. But when you break that rhythm, when you vanish, you don't just leave a gap. You leave an emotional vacuum. The mind hates vacuums, so it fills them with questions. Why did he go? What happened? And in that silence, your absence becomes louder than any message you could send. The trick is not to leave a note, not to send one last text. Just vanish, quietly, cleanly. Let the void speak for itself. Rule 4. Become the mirror. Don't argue, don't explain, don't chase. Just reflect. Let her see herself through the version of you she no longer affects. The one who's building silently, growing visibly, and smiling without her. That's psychological warfare. Stoic style. Because when she sees that you didn't just move on, you elevated, that's when the real regret begins. Not because you tried to make her jealous, but because you never needed her validation to begin with. This isn't about revenge. This is about becoming untouchable. A man who doesn't react, doesn't beg, doesn't orbit anyone who doesn't center him. You don't chase. You become. You don't prove. You embody. And in that stillness, in that unshakable self-respect, she sees what she lost. You don't return to her. You return to yourself.